Welcome to our second video, our second series in our How to Garden. Today we're going to use our setting again in Pollock Park, and we're going to do up a spring container. We have a longtime member with the Richmond Garden Club, Jill Wright, will be leading this demonstration, and we are going to cover all aspects of how to create a gorgeous container.
Hello! Today we're going to do a spring container, and it's so much fun doing containers. Linda and I just love it. And this morning we're practicing safe distancing, so Linda is going to be off screen for a little bit, and she's going to be handing me plants because you don't want to see me running back and forth. So first of all, when we're doing containers, we think about your pot. It's always, in my opinion, better to have a big pot. Bigger the better, because you can get more plants into it. And now, do you want to go plastic, which is nice and light, cheaper, or do you want to go to what's my personal favorite, is the glaze. It's more expensive and it's much heavier. This one weighs as much as this big one full of soil. So for our demonstration today, it was too heavy to bring a big, heavy, black, shiny pot, but they're my favorite. Once you have them in its spot, you don't have to move it, and then it's good to go, and you just change the plants. So today we're going to use the plastic. Now, after you've decided on what your pot is, then potting soil. Potting soil is very, very important because you need free drainage. You need very good drainage. And when you buy potting soil, it's not soil that you would find in your garden. It's not mineral soil. And it is full of these little white things, which is perlite. And perlite is a rock that's been heated up to a huge number of degrees, and it pops like popcorn, and it allows your potting soil to keep a lot of air in it and letting the water go through quickly. So potting soil, so don't use garden soil, you need to use potting soil. Now, what do you need for tools? Really, you just need a pair of clippers, and a nice serrated knife, and maybe a pair of scissors, and a pair of gloves. So let's start with what we want to put in the back. There's several options. You could do a small shrub that gives a nice backdrop. I brought this one as an example, but you can see that this one is, you can see it's not bold enough, it's not thick enough to make a good backdrop. But you know what we might do is we might cut some of these branches after and put it in our container. So we're not going to use that one for our backdrop. We're going to use this, and it's a Phormium. And look at that, is that not beautiful? Especially when the sun shines through it. So it's got nice big bold leaves. We want to look at the roots. Have you ever dug up a plant and it looked exactly like it came out of a pot a year later? And that's because the roots weren't teased and the roots didn't grow into the surrounding soil. In this case, we're planting the Phormium right at the back. So I'm going to tease out the roots so that I can squish it up right to the back of the container so that we can get more stuff in the front. There. So we've got it a little bit below the rim so that there's room for water. Put some potting soil around it. I didn't look to see if I put the best side forward. Yep. Is that good, or should I switch it around?
That's a good side.
That's a good side?
Yeah.
Thank you. Now the next plant that we want to put in is we want to have a plant that's a little bit of a filler. And so I chose this one because it has the same kind of tones as the Phormium, but it's got this splash of yellow, which of course is going to look good. So it's going to go in the middle. And the Euphorbia, I was going to put 2 in, but then I decided no, because I have 2 Hellebore, and then we want 1 Hellebore on each side. So now this cultivar of this, there's many, many, many different kinds of Euphorbia. And this one was, Linda?
The Euphorbia Martini.
Martini. So this one's Euphorbia Martini. Next, we're going to do this wonderful Hellebore. And the Hellebore is going to go on the side, and you can see it's got a totally different form than the Euphorbia. Need to dig our hole a little bit more here. There. And so it's got the broader leaf against this tiny little leaf of the Euphorbia, and then it's got these big, fabulous blossoms. And we have to decide which way we want the Hellebore to face. So let's put it in like that, so it sort of is a little bit there. Okay, now we want to put another one in on the other side.
And this one's called a Penny's Pink.
Penny's Pink Hellebore, yeah.
Okay.
And Linda, this one is really, really dry. Most of them so far have been lovely moist. But this one, could I get you to soak that one for a minute? And we'll put it in as soon as it's had some reviving in the water. Okay, now we've got this. Now we need some yellow. And we've got a lovely little primula. We could stick right there. We could add some daffodils. Now these are the miniature daffodils, and I think that they are splendid for a garden and or pots, because you know what, they go on and on and on. They don't fall over like the big King Alfred daffodils, and so that will give us lots of yellow, but we've got a bit more to go yet before we want to put that in. So let's get this other Hellebore
nice and soaking wet.
Yes. And have I got it going the right way? Yeah. So we want it to go out a bit.
Ooh.
Okay.
Gorgeous.
Now we have a Pulmonaria. Look at this blue. So now I've got to come around the front. And is this too much? We'll take it out of the pot. And if you have trouble getting it out of the pot, all you do is turn it upside down. I'm making a mess here, but you can hardly do a pot without making a mess. And tap it on the corner of your pot, and that gets it out. And you can see that this one is awfully dry, so we'll have to put some water in it. Now, let's have a look. It's got these big, big leaves, and is it going to be lovely there, or is it too big? What do you think, Linda?
I'm actually loving it.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll get you to water it.
All right.
Now, you know, I love this Euphorbia with the Phormium, but I'm wondering whether the Pulmonaria is a better choice. It's blue, so it's sort of got, you know, it's a bit of a switch, but still very springy. But I'm thinking that maybe the Pulmonaria is a better choice than the Euphorbia. Linda, what do you think?
I agree. I like the Pulmonaria better.
Unfortunately, the Euphorbia Martini is out. And now, Linda, could you pass me the two Narcissa?
This one?
Narcissus.
The little guys?
No,
this guy.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the other one with the orange.
Okay.
And we'll decide which one is a better choice. That one's got orange in it. I'm thinking this one with the...
Ooh, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's take this one. And now, this one isn't so important to disturb the roots, because this is not going to be a permanent plant for the pot, because we're going to be taking this out as soon as it's finished, putting it in the garden or in another pot to mature, and then we'll put something summery in this pot. So I'm going to put this one in to hold this Phormium up.
Oh, yes.
There. How does that look?
Oh, beautiful.
Is that beautiful?
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Okay. Let's put in these little mini daffodils. And same thing, the mini daffodils are going to come out, so you can, as soon as they're finished, so you don't need to disturb the roots. You want them just to keep on. We don't want them to be set back at all. And they're not a permanent plant in the pot. So we'll put one on each side.
Jill, would this be a sun type of a basket?
Yes.
Or? Yes.
Yes. So sun, usually Pulmonaria would go in the shade. And so but we've given it a little bit of shade from all the other plants. You could maybe stick that, I don't know what we'll do with that. Okay, so we're getting down to the end and we need a few grasses. And I've got room for some pink. So I've got these little tiny heathers. And this heather you can see is dry. And I'll disturb its roots a bit. And I'm going to hand it to Linda to water. Because that's the most important thing, is to make sure your plants are wet. And we've got a couple of different options for grasses. This one, have a look. I'm thinking that would be a good choice if it wasn't as big. Or Linda, if you could hand me those other two. This one.
Okay. I got here. I'll give you the heather. And
I'll put the heather in.
The Mondo.
And this heather is going to pick up on the pink. I might have to squish its roots a bit so I can get it in. If anybody's ever seen Brian Minter do pots, he bangs them on the table and squishes them so that he can get them into the pot. Or, yeah, into his container. He's really puts on a show.
Yes.
Okay, so I found this little grass. And I think it would be perfect under there. So what color do you like? Do you like the one with the white stripe, or do you like a bit of yellow?
Bit of yellow.
Okay, or I've got black.
Okay, the black Mondo is right there.
Yeah. Now the black might not show up on the black pot. It's nice.
Yeah.
And maybe we could fit it in.
You could fit it on a side.
So let's put this one. And it's really dry too.
Okay.
So quickly.
We have a bucket of water here. You put it in and you can hear the bubbles.
Yep. And it's amazing how quickly, well, because they're in such light soil, that they absorb the water like right away. And we need to flatten this root ball so that it can go right in front of the Narcissus. There.
Oh, beautiful.
So what am I missing? I could put another heather over here, of course.
Yeah.
Back here, probably. Right under to get that pink. And so probably we could add just some more grasses. Okay. But I'm going to talk about cutting this. This is a Carex grass, and this is a 1 gallon pot, which is way too big for our container. So we're going to divide it. And this is when the knife comes in handy. And you never know how successful you're going to be on getting an exact half, because I'll show you what happens.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So, nice and small. Now we probably, what do you think? Divide this one again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you need any water in those?
So, yes, but
we're good.
Yeah. So now Linda, come back and see if that does the trick. And Linda wants something tall and skinny. I don't know if this is going to be, maybe just another, but you can't see this, can you?
No.
Okay, so we would have to get some, just slight, something skinny to go back there.
Try your Euphorbia again.
Okay, the trouble is it's a 1 gallon pot.
Oh, so it's too big.
And unless I cut all its roots off.
Just put it in there and let's see what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, see this side has enough room for it.
Oh.
Actually.
Oh.
Now what does that look like?
Put one on the other side.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I'm the plant girl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. That looks beautiful. What do you think?
It's hard to tell from back here.
Yeah.
So we'll just add our other grass down here.
Yeah.
Dig a little hole. Set it in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is gorgeous. Oh!
Now, you can see there was all sorts of possibilities. These are all the plants that we didn't use. We could have used a different arrangement, but I like the heather that matches the Euphorbia. No, the Hellebore. And then, of course, the Phormium at the back gives us our depth. Now, I always like to add in a couple of branches. And you need your clippers here. This is a Dogwood cornus, and it's Arctic Fire is the cultivar. So if you have a spot like Linda was saying that she didn't like where we had that hole, you can, and if you can't get a plant in, you can always fill the back up with a branch and add just that little bit more color. Let's try just, this one doesn't match. It's a bit skinnier than the other one, but it'll give you the idea. So I fill in the holes with something else that doesn't have a root ball. We don't have to worry about.
No.
We don't have to about fitting it in. It can just jam in.
And that really picks up the Phormium.
Yeah. So now, depending on the color of your house, if you had a black door or black house painted, if it was painted black, the Phormium might not be the appropriate. But my house is white, so I think this will really show. Now, caring for the basket, when you're selecting your plants, what you want to look for is ones that take about the same amount of water. So in this one, we've got the Euphorbia and the Phormium and the Hellebore that really don't want a lot of water. So the only one that needs water here, well, we don't probably have anything other than maybe the Pulmonaria that would need a shot of water. So because it's just a spring basket, it's not going to be around forever. You can have plants that have different water needs. But if you were doing a summer basket, you'd probably want to have them all with the same water needs, whether it's going to be a drier basket or one that's full of annuals that needs to have more water. Fertilizer, there is fertilizer usually in your potting soil. So in this case, we certainly don't need to fertilize. And we would water. Watering is always the tricky thing. People want to know how much water to put in a pot. But you need to figure it out. This pot's too heavy to lift, so you won't be able to tell from weight. You will be able to tell from touch. You'll also be able to tell from the color of your plants. And if they wilt, of course. You know, everybody's seen a hydrangea that's dry and the leaves just all wilt down. But always the color is not vibrant on a dry plant. And Pulmonaria, you'll be able to tell right away because it will show you if it's too dry. Leaves go all limp. And so, Linda, what have we left out? Have we covered everything?
This is a spring container.
Yeah.
And some of this material will be moved into our gardens
or into another pot to mature.
Into another pot. And then you just replace with seasonal.
Yes.
Could be annuals, could be perennials, whatever suits you, but always using the Phormium as the anchor.
So maybe we will do another container later on with for just summer plants.
That sounds like a good plan.
Yes. And so now, just to remind everybody that you don't cut the leaves off. You can cut the flower heads off, but not the leaves of your Narcissus and your daffodils until the leaves have turned yellow. So they can just go into another pot, let them mature, keep them watered, and then the leaves, it'll have to be in the sun because the leaves need to photosynthesize and have the energy go down to give the bulbs enough energy to bloom again next year. So, happy container planting. Bye for now.
have all learned to create these beautiful baskets, and you can spend as much or as little as you want and just create these gorgeous containers that will last you through the springtime. And then we'll look at another a series or a session on creating more of a summer basket. But our next video, so stay tuned, we're having Megan Zenny, another Richmond Garden Club member, who has a company called Room to Play, and she will be teaching us how to get children more involved in the gardens through creative play. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see you then. Thank you.
Here's a tidbit for you. Something that I learned after doing this container was that I didn't know the plant Mertensia, which is Virginia bluebells. And it is from the borage family, which is the same as our forget-me-nots and Pulmonaria, which is sometimes called lungwort. And they're very similar. They've got the blue flower, but the Martensia, the Virginia bluebells, has a longer tube on the flower. Pulmonaria usually has the spots. This one doesn't. But anyway, very hard to tell the difference, but it's something that you can look at and see if you can find a Virginia bluebells. It's something that we don't have a lot of in our area because, of course, it's not native to us. So anyway, that's what I've learned.